All right, let's jump right in. We've all seen security cameras in schools, right? But what if they could do a lot more than just sit there and record? We're going to look at some really interesting new tech today that wants to make school safety proactive, not just, well, reactive.
So think about this for a second. What if those same school cameras could actually stop a fight before it gets really bad? I mean, what if they could sense that trouble is brewing and then instantly get an alert to someone who can step in? That's the big idea here. Moving from just recording what happened to actively preventing it.
You know, the biggest problem with the cameras we have now is they're just kind of dumb observers. They record stuff, sure, and that's useful for an investigation after the fact, but in the actual moment, they don't do anything to stop the harm. And having someone watch those monitors 24/7, it's just not practical. By the time a human spots something, it might already be way too late.
So, what's the fix? Well, this new approach is pretty clever. It takes two different technologies and smashes them together to create one single, really smart system.
And this really breaks it down perfectly. You've got two main pieces to this puzzle. On one side, you have the AI. Think of this as the system's eyes and ears. It's constantly watching and listening through the cameras for any signs of trouble. Then, once it spots something, the other half kicks in, the IoT platform. This is like the nervous system. It gets that signal from the AI and immediately sends out the alerts. So one part sees the problem and the other part tells everyone what to do about it. Simple, right? Okay, so how does this all actually work in practice? It's really just a simple three-step process. Detect, alert, and respond. Let's break that down. First step, detection. The AI is always scanning the video feeds from the cameras the school already has. And get this, it's not just looking, it's listening. Super important. Step 2 is the alert. The second that AI spots something, it pings the IoT platform, which shoots out a super detailed alert. And finally, you have the human response. The right teacher or security guard gets that alert on their phone or computer, and they can get there right away. And here's a look at how that whole thing is wired together. You see the cameras over there in the school? They're all feeding their data into this central system. That's where the AI brain does its work, analyzing everything for stuff like fights or someone in distress. Then, bam, the platform pushes out those alerts to the staff's dashboards. It's all about getting the right info to the right person, like instantly. Okay, so that's the theory. Sounds good on paper, right? But what does this actually look like in a real school? Let's run through a couple of real-world scenarios to see how this thing actually performs. All right, first example, a fight breaks out. Your typical camera, it's just going to record the whole thing for you to watch later. But this AI system, it's been trained to spot the telltale signs of aggression. We're talking about sudden jerky movements, people getting in each other's faces, even the sound of shouting. The second, literally, the AI flags that kind of behavior, that nervous system we talked about, kicks into gear. An alert automatically goes out to the right people. Discipline teachers, security, you name it. And this isn't some vague, hey, something's happening alarm. No way. It sends a live picture of the incident and, most importantly, the exact location. No time wasted searching. And it's not just about physical fights either. Remember how I said the AI is also listening? That's huge. It can pick up on audible signs of trouble, like bullying or really intense verbal arguments. If a student screams or if there are other sounds of distress, the system can flag that too. And this is where it gets really powerful, you know? Catching this stuff early means someone can step in before it blows up into something much worse. It's not just about physical safety anymore. It becomes a tool to help protect a student's mental health. And honestly, the possibilities go way beyond that. You can train the same AI to look for other things, like spotting the vapor clouds from vaping in the bathrooms, or catching an intruder trying to get in after hours. It could even detect if a student slips and falls and might need medical help. It basically turns a boring old security system into this all-in-one safety tool. So let's zoom out for a second. What's the bigger picture here? Well, the benefits are pretty massive. We're talking about more than just reacting to problems. This is about completely changing the game when it comes to how a school thinks about and manages safety. Just think about it from the school's point of view. First off, it works with the cameras they already have. That's a huge plus, saves a ton of money. It also means they don't need someone glued to a monitor all day. Plus, it automatically creates a record of every single incident, which is great for reporting. And on top of all that, it's designed to be light on the network, so it doesn't eat up a bunch of data storage and bandwidth.
But honestly, the tech stuff is one thing. It's the human benefits where this really shines. Getting help to students faster means less harm, period. The data the system collects can also help schools spot patterns, like are fights always happening in the same hallway? That lets them get ahead of problems. And all of this, taken together, just helps build confidence for parents and staff and creates an environment where students can actually feel safe and focus on learning. Now, obviously, whenever you talk about more cameras and AI, the big P word comes up: privacy. And that's a fair concern. This system was apparently designed with that in mind. The idea is to stop staff from just randomly scrolling through footage trying to spot students. Instead, it forces them to focus only on specific flagged events. So the shift is from watching people to responding to incidents. It's a small distinction, but a really important one.
And that really brings us to the final big question. This kind of tech is without a doubt a powerful tool for making schools safer. It's turning passive cameras into active guardians. But it also makes you think, right? As we start to rely more and more on AI to keep us safe, we have to ask ourselves how we make sure these systems are used the right way, responsibly and ethically. So I'll leave you with this. When technology watches over our schools, who watches the technology?